So now that we've talked about the basics, let's move on. Part 2, this is going to be about common dynamics. What checks what does what. So first off, we're going to keep using our example team. And talk about Snorlax's place. Snorlax is an electric check and a sweeper, or just a breaker, or a status absorber. Depends on your team. Snorlax is checked by the normal resist and Cloister, and is gets points of entry on Zapdos. Well, the electric says pretty much any special move or sleep moves running Sleep Talk. Zapdos is just a powerful offensive mon. It absorbs sleep. It comes in against Cloister, looking to get up spikes on Snorlax. It 1v1s things pretty well. Like, it can 1v1 pretty much anything that tries to check it other than Snorlax. It beats Neato King in a 1v1, beats Steelix in a 1v1. Well, it ties Steelix, so Steelix explodes on it. Beats Eggy in a 1v1 unless it explodes. So Zapdos just threatens, is checked by Snorlax and the grounds. And it threatens out, most notably, Cloister. And puts pressure on its checks through using hidden power, ice or water. And lands thunders on Snorlax with your spikes down to chip it, force it to rest. That's what this Zapdos set does. Steelix is the normal, it's the check to Snorlax and Zapdos. So it gets points of entry on those, but it gets scared out by Cloister, and Zapdos can repeatedly hidden power it. And either you have to roar it out or boom on it. That's how Steelix functions. Eggy is a tertiary electric check on this team, but most notably it is going to sleep something. It's a sleeper. So you, most notably, Zapdos will often switch in immediately upon seeing an Eggy, so that it can absorb the sleep, because it's a sleep talker. Which is why Eggy commonly tries to blow up on Zapdos, or can run Stun Spore to lure in and paralyze Zapdos. Eggy are going to run a lot of sets. The sleeper dynamics are all a little bit different from each other. Like Jinx being the fastest sleeper in the lead matchup gets initiative on all the other sleepers. Eggy can also run Thief. We'll get to that in another video. But basically we're talking about, well, the sleep talkers and sleepers will be in another video too. Then this Cloister is your spiker. Zapdos will threaten you out, but you get points of entry on Snorlax and the Zapdos checks and opposing Cloister. Opposing Cloisters like to toxic each other, just because it's a really good way to wear down the other one, especially if they have a golem on their team. Especially if you have a golem on your team. Like, I cannot say that enough. A toxic Cloister allows you to spin against it. Like, you can just keep spinning into it because it'll slowly die. Toxic works a little differently in this generation. It works as you'd expect when you toxic them, but when they switch out, it reverts to normal poison. So just, like, keep that in mind. Oh, don't keep that in mind. It's still a great move. Like, it's still a really good move. And you take toxic damage when you switch in. Kind of like spikes. Spikes only go up to 1 layer. Don't try and spiking more layers. Maximum 1 layer. Keep that in mind. Cloister is fast. It threatens out Snorlax because it can boom on Snorlax. The ideal target to boom on with Cloister is Zapdos or Snorlax. Or Raikou, I suppose. And you get plenty of points of entry on the normal resists. And on Snorlax itself. Vaporeon on this team serves as a status absorber to take sleeps from Jinx. And to threaten late game with their boosted Surfs. Yeah, Vaporeon is interesting. It's a really powerful offensive sweeper, but it really can just struggle against breaking lax and gets threatened out by Zapdos. So it really appreciates a Zapdos getting exploded on, which you can facilitate pretty easily with these mons, because they all let Zapdos in. So that's the basic dynamics of this team. Let's talk about Fori. It gets spikes up on Snorlax. And I guess on Cloister, it can't be toxic. It can spike on Zapdos. It lives as Zapdos Thunder, but you take a ton of chip damage for it. If you're facing a Snorlax in the lead slot, it's with your lead Fori. As a general assumption, you can assume to spike on it, because Flamethrower, like Fire Lax, is really fallen out of favor recently, and you have actually a pretty decent chance to live Flamethrower, not Fire Blast. Blissey, Stall. We talked about Aggie. Gengar. Gengar is most commonly Bolt Beam with Ice Punch instead of Ice Beam, because it doesn't get Ice Beam. And then +2, that can be Thief, Destiny Bond, Explosion, or Hypnosis. Any of those two in any combination. But I think Boom or Destiny Bond is best to always have at least one of those two. And most players would agree with me. Gold, yes, Destiny Bond, Boom is a set. It's kind of a breaker. It's a pretty powerful special attacker. It doesn't use stab because in this generation Ghost is physical, and so is poison. So use it like Ice Punching into Lax kind of sucks, or Iraiku kind of sucks sometimes, but you have Explosion, and if you could nail one of those two, that'd be amazing. You permanently wall every non-EQ Lax, basically, and it's lovely when you catch one of those guys. Just be aware of Tyranitar. You can lure in and blow up Raikou. You can lure Tyranitar and Destiny Bond it. Gengar's a great disruptor. You can sleep something because you're really fast in Hypnosis, and you get a lot of points of entry on normal moves, which are flying around everywhere. Gengar is weak to EQ in this generation, does not have Levitate. Golem is the normal resistant phaser and electric check. It uses rapid spin. Heracross is a curse sweeper. Sometimes it does seismic toss stuff, but we're going to talk about curse sweeping. Go watch False Swipe Gaming's video on Snorlax too, on Heracross. They recently updated it, and it's really good. But it really needs support against, it needs a lure for Skarmory, and often wants a lure for Zapdos too. But it just curses up and then Sleep Talk Megahorns you. Rest Talk Megahorns. Jinx is the fastest sleeper, other than Gengar, the fastest common sleeper. Gengar doesn't usually run Hypnosis. Lovely Kiss, Ice Beam +2, could be Sub, Psychic, Nightmare, Thief. You'll see the rare Perish Song. It's just a fast offensive sleeper that it doesn't really do much into Sleep Talk Snorlax unless you're Thief. Thiefing a Snorlax is amazing. Nightmaring it out also works. Ice Beam just hits hard. A lot of mons are weak to Jinx. Usually at least 3 or 4 mons on a team are weak to Jinx. Jinx is an offense killer. Machamp is just a powerful attacker. It can be 4 attacks. It can be curse stuff. It can be rest stuff. It rarely can be a mono attacker. Sorry, I should explain what mono attacker means. Mono attacker is using a single attacking move, most commonly seen with mono Snorlax, using Double Edge, Rest, Sleep Talk, Curse. It requires Tyranitar or other pursuiters to facilitate it so it doesn't get infinitely walled by the ghosts. Milk Tank is stall, Mischievous is stall. Neato King is a sleeper or a thief mon or both, and it has pretty great coverage. It's a mixed attacker. Mixed attackers use both their attack and their special attack. Neato King is pretty dang fast for this tier too. Cloister is already considered fast at base 70. So it most commonly uses EQ Bolt Beam it can use Thunder or Thunderbolt. I like Thunder personally. EQ Ice Beam, Thunder, Lovely Kiss. Or Thief instead of Lovely Kiss. Or Thief and Lovely Kiss, and you drop Thunder, which makes you wall by Cloister, but Ice Beam's essential because you need baiting Zapdos. Raikou. It's an electric check. It's an amazing electric check. It's like a Zapdos. It's faster than Zapdos. It's a great special wall. Probably the second best special wall in the game, because Snorlax is the best. And it commonly runs the exact same sets as Zapdos. Sleep Talk with 2 attacks. But it is weaker, notably. Rhydon is it's Curse, EQ, Rock Slide, Roar. It staves off Snorlax and can go, if it's at full health, it can tank a Zapdos, HP Ice, and +1 Rock Slide it. Once you've cursed up, it's Curse Sweeper. But not a good electric check. Skarmory's on stall. Starmie should be on stall. Should remain. It should keep its place on stall and not invade offense. Snorlax is too complicated to talk about. Tyranitar is a normal resistant phaser. It also has a few other sets that really fit well on offensive teams. This is an unskippable ad. So basically, we're going to talk about basic Tyranitar. Tyranitar is the best pursuiter. It can take out ghosts. Usually a rock, like the traditional set is Rock Slide, Pursuit, Flamethrower. Just stays stays pretty good against everything else. Stays effective on doing its job. Phases out Snorlax. Rock Slide hits decently hard. Yeah. Can also like run EQ. Can run Dynamic Punch to really stick it to Lax. It can also run Curse, Rock Slide, EQ, Roar, or Rest. That's a good set. It can run 4 attacks as a lead. I like that set a lot. Rock Slide, Dynamic Punch, or Screech, EQ, and Thunderbolt, because you bait in Cloister, because Cloister takes 3 Rock Slides to die. So, against like a Cloister lead, you Rock Slide it, it spikes on you because it expects you to switch because Surf does 60, then it surfs you, dealing 60, and then you Thunderbolt it and it dies because it expected to live the next Rock Slide. Umbreon is stall, Vaporeon we went over, Zapdos we went over, BLs I have a whole video dedicated to them. Go watch that. So, that is the role that each offensive mons play. Thanks for watching this part. Next part is going to be the sleepers and sleep talkers.